has a lot to offer. Besides that, finals again start this week, and we hope everyone, allows our kids to take a nice little breather, after Tuesday, to have a couple days off.
Great. Thank you.
Anything I didn't cover that we should talk about?
No, just that there was the one thing that came up that we already talked about, but we should just mention again, maybe just about lunch, just in the new semester. That
So in the semester, we have no plans to close lunch.
right.
Open campus lunch will still be part of our upperclassmen's lives. That's not changing. Closed campus isn't changing. What are some of the other things
The
that
40, the time, the length of lunch.
So the 40-minute lunch is actually contractually obligated by the teacher's contract. So the benefit to the students, because and I know that our teachers aren't looking to get rid of that. So yeah, the 40-minute lunch, open lunch. I mean, if we close lunch, we'd have to blow up the whole schedule, and because we'd need an A lunch, a B lunch, and a C lunch, because our building was never designed to house all our students at lunch at the same time, because we have had, open lunch for upperclassmen for decades. So
I think those were the only those were the questions that we received about it. So, I mean, besides more details about start and end time, but yeah, it sounds like the town hall will be great in December.
Yeah, and we will also put it out in writing, so people who don't want to come to the town hall, but the town hall will just be able to give a little more detail than, a long email can be able to give out.
Right. Great. Now you can do your introductions.
Sure. We'll start to my left. We'll start with Jen Hodson. She is one of our 2 new assistant principals.
Yeah, so I'm Jen Hodson. I'm brand new to Michigan. I'm absolutely loving it so far. The students, the staff, the team, everybody has just been amazing and awesome. I couldn't ask for a better situation. So I'm originally from Southwest Ohio, and then I was down in Northern Kentucky, just outside of Cincinnati, for the past 17 years. I taught high school math for 14 years, and then assistant principal there for 3 years. The building was about 1,800 students, and so it was a large school as well. And then I met a guy, and I've moved up here, so that's kind of what brought me to Michigan. Like I said, I'm really enjoying it. And my break in between school and this, I went over to Somerset and got familiar with that, so that was nice. But no, everybody's been very welcoming, supportive, and I could not ask to be at a better place.
Nice to meet you. Welcome. We do have one question in the chat.
Sure.
So
Is it about Jen?
It's not about Jen. Does anybody have any questions about Jen? It's a question about the auxiliary gym, the indoor track. Will it be open? Are there any designated days or times when it will be open, like for students to use?
So we are working. So right now we have someone down in the weight room, which allows us to have someone so students can use it without having a team. One of the big concerns we have is the auxiliary gym is not connected to our building.
Right.
So unless someone's over there, we don't know who's in the room. So we have had that discussion about finding time for both students and staff to be there. But I need to consult with our athletics department to figure out we can have somebody in the building to help monitor and make sure everything is above board. So the answer is not no, it's just we need to figure out a schedule.
Nice. Okay. Sorry, now we can move on to Brad.
We'll move on to Brad Shoebride.
Hi, I'm Brad Shoebride. This is my 6th year here at Seaholm. I previously taught at Lakeland High School in White Lake for 15 years. I was a science teacher and department head there. And then switched over here and was the science department head here for 5 years before moving up and I guess turning to the dark side here with administration. It's nice. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm told. I live out in South Lyon with my wife and my 2 kids. They're 13 and 11. So it's a bit of a drive each day, but it's well worth it because I've really enjoyed the community. Really enjoyed my time here. I've not regretted for a second leaving my original building and coming over here. It's been a great experience. So and I'm with freshmen and seniors this year, and ran field day, which was always wonderful.
Thank you.
So.
I'm with 10th and 11th grade, and I'm also one that fields all the questions for the parking And so I also want the gravel pile to move, and I wish I had better answers, but I don't at this time, so.
Yeah. Do we need to like send a sign up genius to start?
Yes.
Start taking it?
It would be nice. So yeah, so you know, like we all have defined roles, but at the same time, as I point out, we are a team. So if there's a question that has to do with ninth grade and Brad is doing something, Jen just doesn't go like, well, that's not my, you know, and vice versa. So they are a great point of contact for students. Though I will always say, you know, if a concern revolves around a teacher, usually the first contact should be the teacher and not right to the assistant principal. Because sometimes, you know, those questions can get answered directly by the teacher. Because, you know, when I was assistant principal, I get these emails, well, my son/daughter said this, and I'd like, have you talked to the teacher? And then when they talk to the teacher, it turns out that there maybe was a different side to that story as well. And, you know, the administrative team is, of course, here to help all of our students, but, you know, that point of contact first with the teacher is always going to be our best bet.
And then maybe department heads
Department heads
too.
afterwards. Speaking of department heads, Mr. Jason Bassner, Social Studies Department Chair.
So I've been teaching here since I came in right as the students were kind of coming back into the building. I got hired in and started February of 2021, so kind of midway through the year. This is my third full year here, but I've had since then. I've had the pleasure of speaking at commencement. I have been the voice of field day for the past couple of years, and it's one of my favorite things I get to do every year, so I'm going to continue doing it. But I also have been a football coach here all but 2 years. I started when Coach DeWald came in, and all but 2 years when I was teaching in another district. I've been here since then. So we just had a great year, great season. Came to an end a little bit quicker than we thought. We thought we'd make quite a run, but just I'll tell you what. Just talking from a coach's perspective, when other teams come here, they are in awe of that new facility. We put on one of the greatest shows for visiting athletes and our own athletes, and it's an attention grabber. But as department head, it's a role I kind of came into somewhat abruptly, but I don't regret one, but I love it. I think our department is probably the strongest it's been since I've been here, and we're all about you know, continuing to help this department grow and make it better. We hired a new AP Psych teacher, Mr. Jeff Hopper, who's doing an amazing job and has some interesting things that he wants to do. And so it's all about providing, I'm really about providing the best opportunities for students. And that includes next school year, bringing back the inauguration trip. So we're going to be taking AP Gov students and STUCO, Student Congress students, providing them the opportunity to go to the inauguration in 2025. And that's being spearheaded by our wonderful AP government teacher, Ms. Howe, as well as myself. So a lot of great things going on, but it's been an exciting year. And it's been a crazy year though, because I just got back from being on leave because my son was born on the 18th of October. And so I just got back from being on leave last Monday, but it presents its share of challenges, but it's also amazing. So I go from, you know, seeing my kids at school to seeing my kid at home, and it's a awesome experience. So.
Oh, congratulations.
And for anyone who might have a senior next year, I went on the inauguration trip when I was a student here, and then I went on the last one, and it was great. And it's great as a kid, it was great as an adult, and it really has nothing to do with partisan politics, because the experience, it just happens only every 4 years, and you might like the president, but you might not, and that doesn't really matter. Just being there, being part of history, and being part of that. I would say, if you have a student who is interested in taking AP Government or taking Student Congress, or is interested in going on the trip and maybe should think about doing one of those two things, it is one of the reasons I became a social studies teacher, but that was, seeing democracy in action was really cool when I was a student here. And I would definitely represent that trip if anyone, wants to talk to their their current junior or really freshman or sophomore if they're student Congress kids. So it's a really great opportunity.
Yes,
And finally,
finally.
our new science department chair. It's okay. No, finally meaning finally. We have not.
Yeah,
made
the
it-
last person.
Yeah.
No.
You are the deal.
Yes.
We're talking about my tardiness.
No.
No,
No?
you slid in just in time, though, right?
You were-
Exact-
Very smooth, just like,
Perfect.
oh, there's an open seat.
Mr. Stephen Clare.
Yes. Hello, I'm Steve Clare. I guess, trying to fill the shoes of Mr. Shoebright here in the science department. So taking my cues from Mr. Basner there, we had a void in the science department that we filled. And we hired a new AP bio teacher who is also teaching chemistry and our global systems class. And the science department is rocking and rolling here, trying to navigate our transition over to semesters. And we are looking at transitioning to brand new curriculum, sunsetting our global systems graduation requirement, all the while then scooping up and transferring some of the materials to a brand new, well, I guess, brand new or maybe reviving a regular environmental science class and folding a lot of those things that are being left behind into our biology class, all the while looking at picking up brand new biology curriculum for next year and rewriting, redoing, adopting some new things. So it's had its challenges, but we are all moving forward in the science department, which is nice.
Maybe a little about yourself.
Steve.
You like popcorn?
Popcorn is my favorite things. So I came by a old style popcorn machine from a friend of a friend, and it was one of those, hey, I've got this in my garage, can you use it? Yes, somehow. And now I look at every opportunity to simply just make popcorn for all the students in my classes. And like whenever we have a review day, the day before a test, we have popcorn and review day. And our Cocoa and Cram, which I'm one of the three-headed monsters of our Make Me a Maple program. We're going to make probably copious amounts of popcorn on Thursday as we're having a study hall and a cramming session for our freshmen for finals on Friday. Other than that, I was a little bit tardy today because I had to have a Zoom for my 8-year-old's parent-teacher conference. And so I quickly got off that and ran on down here.
Very cool. I think that concludes your agenda item.
Yes. We hired Jeff Hopper and moved Jason into the department chair because Miss Rochelle Rogers retired. So if any of you guys remember Miss Rogers, she is
Yeah.
happily married and lives in Florida with her new husband.
And here's another one, just coming at the right exact time on the agenda. You planned it. You're here right at the exact
I
time.
feel like we're at the same meeting, the three of us were just.
Oh. We've been traveling to the same spots all day, it seems like.
So, thank you for coming, everybody, in the updates. It's fantastic. So the next item, does anybody have any questions for the admin who's here? The next item on the agenda is Stuco, actually. So Mrs. Getz is here. Hi, so.
So we are wrapping up our year. This year, we decided to kind of work with our character ed department, our character ed team. And so the kids had to make final exams based on our act with compassion, perform with honor, think with, I don't know what order it goes.
That hurts my feelings.
Okay.
She failed her
This
test.
is recorded.
This is going in your evaluation.
Yeah, I've been
Think with reflection,
act
with compassion, perform with honor.
Yep, that's the one.
That's-
So they actually presented videos today, and they're doing it also tomorrow, that we'll be able to use with the character ed application that we're applying for. The kids also, there were 3 different groups of students that made a website for us that could showcase all of the events that we're running and calendar. And then this year we're applying for an award through our state, the Michigan Association of Honor Societies and Student Councils. And so the other groups of kids were in charge of kind of writing a rough draft for the 12 chapters that are there. So that way next semester it's not all piled on top of them. And then, so this week they've been presenting all that information. So it's been fun to watch their creativity, and we get so excited that, you know, we're like, oh, Andy, think about that one. And so it's been fun to kind of watch their take on, you know, our philosophy and our model here that we're trying to have them follow. So it's been kind of fun. I do know there was a question about dances.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yes, okay, so, but
Yeah,
I have the brain the size of a pea. So let me just remind me what the question was like.
what was it? Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine.
If I recall, it was, no, I don't recall.
So
They wanted to start,
other schools sometimes have locked in dances where
Gotcha.
you, if
Yeah.
it starts at
Mhm.
8, it ends at 11, you have to stay the entire time. And
Okay.
we did try that at prom last year. And it did not go well, but I will let our student congressperson, weigh in.
Yeah, so the way that we've taken that philosophy is that we do understand that, you know, we've sold 700, 800 tickets, and then some of them are leaving after 40 minutes. We like to kind of put some of that pressure back on the parents and say, parents say, don't leave. I mean, it's hard to do. We have a hard time telling the kids that they have to stay. We are a self-funded program, so if we limit it, then we have that many kids that say we're not even coming for even those 20 minutes. So it puts us in, it's not something that we're not willing to have a discussion on, but that's just kind of our philosophy. At the end of the dance, I mean, we still had, at 9:45, we still had 100 kids still dancing in the gymnasium, and they were all ages, seniors, and quite a few seniors that were still there. They were like, we just danced and had fun. So it's a catch-22 on how we play that. And so, we're definitely not closed off to that discussion. But when I have a meeting on Thursday with the Oakland Activities Association, all of our leadership classes will meet. We do have that on the agenda to discuss how many of them do have the closed times, and how many, are there people that, say they have to stay till at least this time, or is it just open? So I wanted you guys to know that discussion is on the agenda for the OAA leadership.
I have a question. What's the intent of keeping it closed versus open? Can anybody
I
weigh
know
in on
that
that?
I've had parents tell me, like I send my son or daughter to the dance and it says it runs 8 to 11, and then I don't know, is he there to 8 to 8:15? Does he show up to the dance at all?
Mhm.
If I know, if he says he's going to the dance, I know where he will be from time X to time Y. I just know at prom last year when we made them stay, it became one of those things where I had to pull all my people to stand by every exterior door to stop kids from leaving. And kids were calling their parents and handing me their phone, and mom was telling me that he has permission to leave, and I will accept so I think it is not necessarily a bad thing. It would definitely just be a culture change that Seaholm would need to go to. And it comes down to what we think is best for kids, and that might not always be what's what makes parents the happiest, but of course we want to keep all stakeholders pleased, and we want kids to have fun at the dance.
We do have times where they have to be in by, like for homecoming, they have to be there by 8 o'clock. Otherwise, we're not letting you in.
Yeah.
For prom, I believe, I don't know what time comes.
Should have same time frame.
Same time frame. So, we'll probably say the same thing, and dinner isn't served after, 8 o'clock. So, we do have those times that they have to be in there by. I've never dealt with it where they have to stay till a certain amount of time, but like I said, that's definitely something we're open to, and I'll find out what. And I know they were, like, one was a Catholic school, one was a Grosse Pointe school. So I know what the answer is gonna be, is that they don't put a restriction on. But I will find out exactly what schools do what. And I have
We have to
15
have signed something, like,
Yeah.
I will be here by this time, and I can't leave until, I think they open the doors like a half hour before
Yeah,
the
we,
official end.
we,
So much work goes into like putting it on.
Would
And I
they-
think when they're like forced to stay, and it could take a period of time.
Mhm.
of,
And what
like,
time do you
change over,
serve-
like, they
serve
create their own
dinner?
fun.
Like, could we push the dinner back a little bit to motivate them to
so
stay?
what I did when I was in Oxford, we started at 6, the doors opened at 6, and we served dinner at 7, and the doors closed at 8. And then, usually typically, but my kids are different, like, I mean, this has been like a total culture change for me. Because my kids, when I was at Oxford, I mean, they stayed till, our dances went till 11, they stayed till 10, they dance. So this is like the
That's so
only
great.
school I've ever seen that just
I don't know
doesn't
why they don't
dance.
do it.
I don't
My
know.
kids are like, okay, they're home and like, we told them you have to stay an hour.
Yeah, well, I looked at my son when he turned and he's like, me and my friends are leaving. I said,
No, you're not.
this is a discussion that we'll have when I get home, and second try when we have our dance, he goes, I take it I'm not leaving, I said, no. And so, you know, we had that discussion, and he's like, I just didn't, like, I was just following the crowd.
They follow the crowd,
And
yeah.
I was like, and so we're not going to do that again. And it's going to, it's, I think it's just a culture change, like Mike said, it's just something that we'll keep pushing, and like, we were pretty impressed with, I mean, there were still 100 kids dancing at 9:45, when we were like, oh, we want to go home now.
We
There
have
were
some
still kids out.
spectacular giveaways in the last hour.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something,
right.
You know what I mean? To blow everything.
Yeah.
Incentivize them to
So,
stay.
but I will get that information, and I'll have that.
PTA could fund it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
kids And parents
The
have
kids
getting
and
their
parents
their
were-
And I
kids
will
ready.
tell you, like, when.
And then in 10 minutes, they're already like,
It's sad.
this is
Yeah.
the main event here, right?
Yeah. And I like, and that was our philosophy, but also like when we would get frustrated when kids would leave at like 9:45 and 10 o'clock for our dance, like in Oxford. But then it was like just so fun to go down and watch the kids that just wanted to be there and dance. And like they had their time down there. And it was actually kind of cool just to watch those kids that are down there just having a good time. And if you're not having a good time, you tend to cause some ruckus and be disruptive, so sometimes that can, you know, play a part in that too. But I get it, like, this is a different culture for me, like, I'm not used to this. So, I'll get there.
We have, we don't have, we have a comment. I thought maybe it was about the dance, but do you guys see this? You see it on the board? My daughter is, yeah, shout out. My daughter is pursuing a degree in environmental studies because of Mr. Claire. Great choice for department. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Haley, Haley Heckman. So she's gonna conquer the environmental world because of that. So very good.
Yay.
Thank you.
We love this, Haley.
Are there any? Hey, nice shout out. Do we have any other questions for Ms. Getz while she's still here before she runs off again?
Hey, Andrea, this is Jennifer. I just was maybe a quick comment on the last conversation on the dance.
Yep.
Just an opinion. I think that is a family issue because the kids are leaving because there are after dance parties, which are being hosted by parents. And so if we really want to change the culture, it's got to really come from the families who are, you know, and which I don't have an opinion, but that's why kids leave. They're not leaving to go home. They're going to after parties
Somewhere
that are being hosted. Many are, right? And so I think
if they didn't have something to go to, or if it
Yep.
were later,
right,
then
correct. That's just maybe a conversation that's probably a parent-kid conversation, but understand the question. Just thought I'd give a quick opinion on that one.
yeah, I appreciate that. Anybody else have any comments about that? No. Okay, well, thank you for your update. Really appreciate it. It's fun to see all the Stuco kids and what they're doing. So it's
It has
very
been fun to do
exciting.
Passion projects this year, and most of them concentrated on a kindness, which that's what they chose. Like, we didn't have anything to do with that. So we're actually taking one of their presentations to our regional conference. So they're gonna present their kindness project that they did. It worked really well in the girls' bathroom. Not so much in the boys. But never learned. Lessons
Were learned.
Lessons were also learned about what solvents remove marker off of walls. So it was truly a learning opportunity for everyone. It was science as well as community service.
You teach cross curriculum.
Yeah.
We tried cross curriculum.
Multi-curriculum.
Thank you. Next on our agenda are any legislative updates, but I'm not sure if there are any at this point in time. I did want to mention that Colleen is in attendance tonight, so thank you for coming. We appreciate you. So, she just wanted to come and just, have a feel for the community here. So we appreciate Colleen being here tonight. Do you want to say anything about what's going on the board or anything?
I
or-
think Mike touched on some stuff already, so we definitely, it's gonna be on upcoming agenda as the late star, and obviously, but. And you guys are working hard transitioning to semesters. I know it's a lot of work, so thank you.
We're so excited.
But
I haven't years, right? I've only done two.
But she's been at Seaholm since 1988
Never left. That is true.
in her heart.
My heart, I've been-
so, but thanks for coming, Colleen. It's nice to have you.
Yeah, I was really excited to hear about this, the town hall you're gonna host.
Yeah.
this season, so that sounds great.
Yeah,
I
it just,
like the idea of,
it would be easier to bring everyone in one place to have a conversation about everything that the board approves than try to just have, her conversation with her PTA and me here and then, emailing everybody out, just,
And we don't have a December meeting,
Yeah,
so
and I-
a December town hall is a great idea.
and I just think that, being in, I know we maybe are afraid to be together in a post-COVID world, but I remember lots of times packed into these Seaholm and Groves auditoriums, and it'll be fine. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And bring everyone from the north side and the south side together. So.
Perfect. Christina, I think we already went over grants, so you guys are pretty much up to speed on what we've done for grants. Sarah, do you have anything for First Fridays other than please sign up?
No, we're good. We're trying to recognize each staff member, the first Friday of each month for people that don't know. Parents are giving gifts or gift cards. And our goal is to try to hit each staff member every year. We can do it. And I think we had 206 a couple months ago. I'm not sure what we're down to now, but we hit 25 last month. We're averaging about that each month. So.
Yeah. And it's important to remember, it's not teachers, it's all our staff
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
So custodial, food service, paras, I mean, it's everyone at the building and, they all work hard, for our kids. So it's nice. And again, if you ever have an opportunity to be here on the first Friday about,
It's so much fun.
2:40 and when those names get called and just the.
Like the price is right,
Yeah,
come on down.
Yeah.
Teachers leave their classes, just sprint down there.
Supervised by other
Yes.
teachers,
By other teachers,
Yeah.
yes.
And, I mean, and it's just, it might not seem like much, but on a Friday after a long week, coming down and having a nice note from a parent and a $25 gift card to Amazon, it might not seem like it should be that big of a deal, but it's just nice to
It's
feel
awesome. Yeah.
welcomed
It's
and,
definitely-
appreciated.
But so the other thing we started last year is the monthly treats. So here's another sign up. But this is once a month. It's the PTA sponsors half of the monthly treat and then a family sponsors the other half. I think they're all filled for the year except for one, the very last month. So if anybody's wanting to fulfill that, it's do a monthly staff treat. I think there's 1 month left. Otherwise,
That's
it's
the
full.
worst day to be absent. Nothing like being homesick and getting the email saying, look, the PTA brought cookies. And then you're like, I'm at home. And by the time I get here
Yep.
tomorrow, they'll be.
They're
all
gonna be
gone.
gone. So, yeah, so those are the fun things that we're doing. Let me see, I've got a couple more things in the chat. I appreciate the Zoom, makes it easier to dial in while rushing home from work. Thank you. Yeah, we're really trying to do, like I said at the beginning of the meeting, we're trying to have hybrid because we do have a lot of participation when we have Zoom, but then we want to have the sense of community. So we're trying to have it do both. So we're trying with our technical skills here. So tweaking it a little bit, but
Andrew, you're doing
I
great.
think we're doing okay. It's managing. I did forget to start the recording. So whoever's end up watching this, I'm really sorry. We'll get some minutes out and hopefully that'll fill in the blank for the non-recorded section. I think I got like the end of
Oh, people can hear
the
me talk
principal's
all the time.
report.
I know where
So
I am, just Always here.
As far as PTA, the next meeting that we'll have, this is our last one for the year as a PTA. Obviously we'll support and help in any way for the town hall. And then our next meeting will be January 9th. I did put out, I forgot to say this earlier, I did put out a topic survey. So, if anybody would like a certain topic, to be covered, I know we do have, the juniors are having, a college planning and next step planning meeting this week. So, that kind of stuff is happening at the school, you know, does, but if there's anything that the PTA can sort of, put out there, if there's a topic that you're interested in looking into more, or if you want to know more about, there is a survey that was in the e-news for the past couple of weeks. If you could just fill that out. And then we can try and come up with some community-driven topics for our January meeting.
And if you have not checked out the new Seaholm website, it is gorgeous. It took a little while to get around to figure out, but Cortez Strickland, who is our, and who works at central office in charge of PR and some other things, it was his, you know, baby, and he's been working really hard on it and the launch. And if you haven't got an opportunity, it's really sharp looking. And we are learning here at the building exactly where things have been moved to, but it's just, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, it is a really nice thing that he and his team have put together.
I would like to give a shout out to Kelly Bott on the yearbook for all the assistance and answering questions. Yearbooks are a hot topic. People love to talk about their yearbooks, so Kelly's doing a great job of feeding me information that I then feed to parents to try and keep that all moving ahead smoothly.
Ellie's great. She also, we're having a staff Olympics this year. So at the beginning of every staff meeting, we have a minute to win it style game by department. And Kelly and a couple other teachers are working hard putting those games together.
Social studies still in first.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I haven't seen the new update.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, we were at first.
I think
Yesterday.
I don't know what department won this week's game.
Oh, admin, Steve.
Oh, that was the AMRA. Oh, yeah. That was Brian and myself.
You guys rolled us this week.
Is there a prize or it's just?
No.
I can't, there is.
It
going to
sounds
be-
like bragging.
There will be a prize at the medal ceremony.
I'm gonna finish last.
Yeah.
Are you seriously stirring the pot?
Actually, this is,
PE and
Well,
art.
excuse me, so excuse me that he is in.
maybe we should stop the recording now.
Change your best.
I've lost control of the meeting. So, are there any other questions, to my Zoom participants? Anybody have anything they'd like to add? I wanted to thank you guys for attending. And again, sorry about the recording, starting late.
Can I bring up one more thing that I know parents want to know?
Yes?
We have moved our charity week this year, so it will be January 29th through February 2nd. We're kind of moving it into the winter, because a lot of times there's a lull there. And then our You Matter week will still happen the week before spring break, right? Yeah.
Yeah, last year they were
Yeah.
back to back, right?
Oh, we are.
Yeah, it was a very busy
Separate.
spring
Yeah, and
last year.
the one thing that we have done is we have.
Did you get that, Elena?
They're doing a 2-week charity week. We're not
Okay,
there-
I'll tell you later.
We're not there yet, but we'll do 1 week, and so I know they're trying to plan a couple cross activities, because I know that we're rivals on the field, but we should be coming together as a community. So that's one thing that like Kara Mason, Shannon Feliciano, and I are trying to work together. So we did talk about maybe doing a blood bath, which is a blood drive back and forth between the two buildings, and try and do a couple.
Call it well.
Maybe a blood battle, maybe.
Is that better? I don't-
Yeah, I think so. We can workshop that. We have some time.
But, you know, we wanted everybody to know that we are trying to work as a whole entire community, you know, on a couple things, and that was one of the things that we wanted.
So-
So trying to give you guys that, start saving your coins, start saving your dollars.
Start saving your blood.
Start saving.
So for you guys at home, Charity Week is moved to January 29th to February 2nd to separate it. It was originally in the spring, or it used to be in the spring, right up against You Matter Week. So You Matter Week is still gonna be before spring break, and then Charity Week will be at the beginning, towards the beginning of the year. Okay, so like I said, our next meeting will be January 9th. Get those topics in. We'll be working on the background on more grant request approvals. And yeah, I think that's it. Can I move?
Motion to close the meeting this evening?
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Right.
So Joe gave the first motion and Amy gave the second. Thanks, you guys.
We're gonna make it to, if you guys.
I know we're gonna-
Join us.
NHS, so
Even if you-
hi, everybody.
Then you are welcome to come.